Hi friends, don't forget to subscribe to my channel and like your video. Thank you all. In Toyota's reshuffling of its large SUV strategy, the iconic Land Cruiser is out, at least for America, and the three-row Sequoia adopts the global Land Cruiser's platform, also shared with the new Tundra pickup, ditching its independent rear suspension in the process. And the redesigned 2022 Lexus LX600 joins them on that platform but sees its name changed from LX570, as the SUV no longer is powered by a 5.7-liter V8 but rather a twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6. That's the biggest change next to the LX's more modern cabin and svelte new styling, and it's the most consequential. Outside of its engine bay, the all-new LX feels a lot like the old LX, essentially a gussied-up version of the Land Cruiser, right down to its rugged body-on-frame construction, livery axle, and standard off-road gear. The only difference now is the fact the Toyota version isn't sold here. This means the Lexus does double duty as a replacement for its archaic predecessor and as a stand-in for the Land Cruiser for American customers, whose big 4x4 can no longer be scratched for less, scratch at a Toyota dealer. Dimensionally, the 2022 Lexus LX600 barely shades its predecessor. Its 112.2-inch wheelbase measurement is identical, while overall length grows by 0.2 inch, width increases by 0.4 inch, and overall height drops by 0.6 inch. It weighs just shy of 3 tons. Our tested weight revealed a 200-some pound diet compared to an LX570 we tested in 2016, with its mass 8.3 inches off the ground, 0.6 inch lower than the old LX570's ground clearance. We lay out these specifications to drive home the point: the all-new Lexus LX600 follows yesterday's playbook, simply masked by Lexus' newest hourglass-shaped grille, thinner headlights and taillights, and an overall more lithe-looking, but proportionally similar, body. Into this familiar format is bolted Toyota's new twin-turbo 3.4-liter V6 engine, which also powers the Tundra pickup and Sequoia SUV. Curiously, Lexus does rely on the hybridized version of this engine, the only choice in the Sequoia and optional in the Tundra. It does, however, dial up the power relative to the non-hybrid Tundra V6, from 348 horsepower and 405 pounds-foot of torque to 409 horsepower and 479 pounds-foot, figures in line with the Toyota hybrid V6, and way beyond those of the 5.7-liter V8 it replaces, 383 horsepower, 403 pounds-foot. Even without electrification, the twin-turbo 6 injects a serious dose of modernity into the LX600 schnoz. The V6 delivers its power in a pleasantly diesel-like way, feeding a satisfying wave of low-end torque through the new 10-speed automatic to the LX's tires. In our testing, the 2022 Lexus LX600 0 to 60 mph time improved by 0.6 seconds compared to the LX570's, dropping to 6.7 seconds and closer to its American full-size SUV competition. Credit for the quicker acceleration goes to a multi-way tie between the LX600's extra 26 horsepower and 76 pounds-foot of torque, its transmission's extra 2 forward ratios, and the LX's minor weight loss. Once underway, however, the LX600's powertrain loses some polish. We noticed plenty of gear hunting from the 10-speed automatic, and often the transmission simply couldn't find the right gear, ending up a ratio or two higher than expected before belatedly and clunkily shuffling down into a more appropriate one. This lends the twin-turbo 6, which is otherwise burly, a sense of hesitancy. As in the Toyotas that use this same engine, the V6 has a gravelly voice, though it is Lexus smooth. Fuel economy is an unequivocal benefit to the new V6. The 2022 LX600's EPA estimates rise by a significant 5 miles per gallon in the city, 6 miles per gallon on the highway, and 5 miles per gallon combined, to 17/22/19 of a mile per gallon. Those are nearly 50% better than before. On a longer freeway trip we undertook, the onboard fuel economy meter hovered around 20 miles per gallon, which is about on par with today's other full-size 3-row SUVs. There is no getting around the 2022 Lexus LX600's handling, or lack thereof. This is a tall, relatively narrow, short wheelbase 4x4, and it drives like one. Slowing from 60 miles per hour takes 10 additional feet relative to the LX570, for a total of 128 feet, during which the nose dips precipitously and the LX squirrels around, requiring frequent corrections at the wheel to stay pointed straight. Fling the LX into a corner. We get it, most owners won't do this, but imagine an emergency maneuver, and it heels over onto its front outside tire and starts briefly sliding before stability control intervenes. Plan steering inputs ahead, knowing the LX takes a second or two to lurch into a more stable cornering attitude, and it feels tippy but not entirely discombobulated. In short, dynamically the LX600 is as compromised as the LX570, which actually outgripped this new one back in 2016, 0.76 grams, average, to 0.75 on our skid pad, and also posted a smarter figure 8 lap time. Even though this Lexus objective grip figures are better than those of the larger Jeep Grand Wagoneer, Cadillac Escalade, and Lincoln Navigator, all three competitors feel a lot more stable in practice. The now electrically assisted steering is slightly more accurate than before, but it still moves with a syrupy feel and suffers from a significant dead zone. You must turn the wheel more than a few degrees to trip a response. In fact, there's a slackness in most of the LX's moves. On the freeway it saunters around on its softly damped air suspension, gently bobbing fore and aft and side to side when changing lanes, accelerating, or slowing. Not to mention, our test vehicle was an LX600 F Sport handling, the trim level ostensibly linked to Lexus' other mostly appearance-focused, sportyish models by the same name. Here, the package adds forged aluminum 22-inch wheels, a black mesh grille and bumper trim, aluminum interior trim, and a Torsen limited slip rear differential. It does not have an appreciable impact on the LX's handling, such as it is, though it makes available a saucy red-colored leather interior option. Other options are limited to an ear-melting $2,660 25 speaker, 2,400 watt Mark Levinson audio system that's worth every penny, our tester had it, and a $1,300 height-adjustable air suspension. Other LX600 trims offer minor differences, from the base LX600 to the premium below the F Sport, to the luxury and ultra-luxury offerings above. You have to want the 2022 Lexus LX600 experience specifically, however, for its pricing to pencil. The base model starts at $89,590 and only seats 5-7 passenger seating is unlocked by the $97,690 premium trim. Compared to other full-size, body-on-frame, 3-row luxury SUVs such as the GMC Yukon Denali, Cadillac Escalade, Jeep Grand Wagoneer, or Lincoln Navigator, the LX is generally pricier, less roomy, slower, and worse handling. The Lexus' only trump card is its off-road capability. Sure, the new 12.3-inch Lexus interface touchscreen running Toyota's latest software is finally fully modern and laid out leagues better than the former LX's older gear, with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, built-in Amazon Music, and a wireless phone charger. The cabin is built to typical, high, Lexus standards, but it's functionally the same as before. And, yes, this is sort of the only way to get a Land Cruiser. Yet for all that, and the LX600 F Sport handling's $102,345 opening ask, we hope for more dynamic improvements to match the new SUV's quicker new engine.